It's been good to finals have wrapped up for our guys. It's been good to be back in the gym here the last few days. We've had 3 practice days in a row before we head to Greenville. Before we head to Greenville tomorrow. Just trying. We've been waiting to have a stretch where we can have a few practices together to kind of just work on some things and really focus on some of the areas that we didn't have time to when we lost practice time because of finals and our schedule. So that's been good. But great challenge ahead. We know playing South Carolina on Saturday in Greenville is going to be a very difficult task, and just looking forward to getting up there.
Obviously, a lot of buzz around G.G. Jackson and his talent level. I know they have other pieces, but what do you see from him and what makes him such a tough matchup?
Well, I mean, he's got great size. He can play all over the floor. He can handle the basketball. He can shoot the basketball. He can play inside. We know they'll post him. Again, he plays with he's a very talented player, both sides of the ball with great size, so it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Coach, I know results aside, how are you feeling about where the guys are at right now?
I think you're always going to think about the results, and you're going to, there's games where we were able to win that we want to play better and execute better, and there's games that we weren't able to win that you're frustrated about that you weren't able to win those games. But all in all, like I said, I still think that defensively we're still trying to establish who we want to be consistently. Offensively, I think our guys are really finding a rhythm to how we want to play. But again, that could change game to game based on the type of defense that you play, that you face. The other day, Coppin State, they ran some matchup zone defense. They really kept the ball pinned on the side of the floor, so we had to make adjustments in the second half. But all that being said, I still say this: every meeting, every practice, every film session, we're still finding ways to teach, learn, and get better. And I think the most important part is I think our guys are really embracing that. We just finished up practice just now, and again, I think we've had 3 really good days. So just building, trying to get better each day.
What kind of defense does South Carolina use?
Man-to-man defense. I think they can mix and match some things in, but they're a big physical team. They got a big front line. They got guards that I'm familiar with that were there last season, and even some of the players that have come in there as freshmen. I know who they are just through overtime and scouting and things like that. So they got a physical team, a physical man-to-man defensive team that will throw in a couple different zone looks that will try and keep us off balance.
Playing away from home, where you guys are obviously very comfortable here, but how important is it going to be to start quick against them?
Yeah, I think we learned that when we went to Florida. I don't know what kind of environment quite to expect. I would expect the game being in Greenville and being in their home state, that they'll have a good crowd there. I'm hoping that the Pirate Nation will travel out and we'll have some people there too. But regardless, home, road, starts are really important. And we know early in the season we struggled getting off to the starts we wanted to. We kind of figured that out a little bit, and that doesn't mean that it's going to play out that way Saturday. But I think anytime you're on a neutral floor, anytime you're potentially in a road type environment, which it very well could be Saturday, I think you always want to get off to a good start. But I'd also say this: we were down by 5 at halftime the other night versus Coppin State at home, and it's a 40-minute game regardless of how you start.
Do you see any similarities between the two programs? First-year coaches, young team transfers, still trying to kind of figure things out as they go along a little bit?
I'm not involved, in seeing what they got going day to day, but here's what I do know. I have great respect for Coach Paris. I think he does an unbelievable job. I know the program he built at Chattanooga. I know what he's done there. I've watched them on film. I know what they're doing. I have great respect for their team, their players, and their coaching staff. I know some of the guys on their staff. So I would just have to, just based on having so much respect for him and knowing what he does as a coach and as a person, I would imagine they're still trying to establish who they want to be, both sides of the ball, putting their identity offensively, defensively, culturally. And I think a lot of programs are going through that when you have first-year head coaches at the program. But I would also say that even successful programs that have been there for a multitude of years and veteran coaches, I still think you're always doing that on a day-to-day basis. But just from watching film, I know they're building a great program there.
Do you expect Tabs to be back, and also Caleb? I know he got popped in the face. Do you think he'll be available?
Yeah, I think both will be available. Considering we always talk about Stephen, we still have another practice day.
Anything else?